The night sky over Seoul was quiet, but the entertainment world trembled. The serene calm of the city was pierced by one shocking headline: Yang Mei Mei collapses on set. In an instant, every corner of the internet lit up. Hashtags spread like wildfire, and fans held their breath, hearts pounding in disbelief. Within hours, another name entered the chaos: Yulong. The actor who had been at the center of breakup rumors with Mei Mei was spotted arriving at the hospital at 3 a.m., his face pale and eyes heavy with worry. Suddenly, a story that once seemed over found itself reborn in the most unexpected way. Yang Mei Mei, one of Asia's most beloved actresses, had been in the middle of filming an emotionally charged scene for her upcoming drama. Those on set said she was pushing herself beyond limits, determined to capture perfection despite exhaustion. But perfection came at a cost. Under the bright lights and endless retakes, her body finally gave in. Crew members described the moment with trembling voices. 1 second she was standing, the next she collapsed, motionless, scripts falling from her hands. Panic rippled through the set. She had been working nonstop for days, said a makeup artist who witnessed the scene. She barely ate, barely slept. We begged her to take a break, but she just smiled and said, "I'll rest when it's done." The ambulance arrived in minutes, sirens slicing through the night as they rushed her to Seoul National Hospital. Yet, no one expected the person who would appear next. Dressed in black from head to toe, Yulong arrived at 3:07 a.m., slipping through the emergency entrance with his cap pulled low. Reporters tried to call his name, but he didn't look back. His only words, according to a nurse who recognized him, were desperate and trembling. "Where is she? Please tell me she's alive." The irony was painful. A man the world believed had left her was now the one refusing to leave her side. The pair had once been the industry's golden couple, their chemistry both on-screen and off undeniable. They first met while filming a romantic period drama 3 years ago. From co-stars, they became confidants. From confidants, lovers. Fans adored their warmth, the way Yulong would quietly adjust her mic, or how Mei Mei's laughter brightened every interview. They embodied the kind of romance people believed existed only in movies. But fame has a cruel way of testing even the purest of bonds. As their careers exploded, the distance between them grew. Endless schedules, international projects, and relentless rumors chipped away at what they had built. Insiders whispered that they broke up quietly months ago, not with anger, but with exhaustion. They simply drifted apart, like two stars pulled in different directions by the weight of their own light. Still, the love between them never truly disappeared. When news of Mei Mei's collapse broke, Yulong reportedly canceled an overseas shoot and caught the earliest flight back. Those close to him said he didn't even change clothes before heading straight to the hospital. "He looked like a man who hadn't slept in days," a staff member recalled. "He sat in the corridor for hours, his hands covering his face. He didn't care about cameras or headlines, only her." Inside the hospital, doctors worked to stabilize her. The diagnosis came hours later: severe exhaustion, dehydration, and stress-induced fatigue. She had been pushing her body beyond its limit, and her body finally cried out for mercy. When she regained consciousness at dawn, Yulong was there, quiet, motionless, but present. Witnesses said he reached for her hand slowly, afraid she might vanish if he blinked. Their eyes met, and for a long moment, no one spoke. But those who saw it said it was as if time had stopped. Later that morning, Mei Mei's management confirmed her condition was stable. They thanked fans for their concern, but refused to comment on Yulong's visit. Still, the damage, or perhaps the miracle, was done. The internet erupted once again, with millions of posts under trending hashtags like #YulongWithMeiMei and #StayStrongMei. Fan pages began posting old clips of their dramas, interviews, and behind-the-scenes videos. "He came back when it mattered," one fan wrote. "That's what love looks like." For many, Yulong's gesture reignited hope that their story wasn't over. After all, who rushes to someone's side at 3 a.m. if not out of love? Sources close to the couple revealed that Yulong had been trying to reconnect for weeks before the incident. He never stopped caring, said a mutual friend. He knew she was struggling but didn't want to interfere if she wasn't ready. When he heard what happened, it broke him. He just ran. What followed was an emotional silence that echoed louder than any press conference. For 3 days, Yulong stayed near the hospital, avoiding cameras and refusing to answer any questions. He was seen bringing flowers and warm soup late at night, sneaking past paparazzi to avoid turning her recovery into a circus. He didn't want to make it a headline, said another source. He just wanted her to know he still cared. As Mei Mei recovered, she released a short handwritten note on her social media. It read, "To everyone who prayed for me, thank you. I am doing better now." Sometimes, exhaustion teaches us who really stands by us when the lights go out. That single line sent shockwaves through the fandom. Some believed it was directed at Yulong. Others debated its meaning endlessly. But when Yulong posted a single photo later that night, a blurry picture of the hospital garden with a caption, "Some lights never fade," even in the dark, the internet exploded once again. The parallels were too obvious to ignore. Entertainment analysts began to speculate whether this tragic incident might lead to a reconciliation. But others reminded the world that perhaps it wasn't about romance at all. Perhaps it was simply about love in its truest, purest form. Love that doesn't vanish after a breakup. Love that lingers quietly even when the world believes it's gone. For days, fans gathered outside the hospital holding candles and signs that read, "We're with you, Mei Mei," and "Thank you, Yulong." The outpouring of emotion was overwhelming. Even colleagues from the film industry sent public messages of concern, calling her a fighter, a light, and a reminder that we are all human beneath the spotlight. The story of Yang Mei Mei's collapse and Yulong's late-night rush has since become more than celebrity gossip. It's a story about vulnerability, redemption, and the quiet ways love reveals itself. Fame may build walls, but when crisis hits, it often tears them down. As of now, Yang Mei Mei is taking a well-deserved break from filming. Her agency confirmed she would pause all activities until she fully recovers. Yulong, too, has cleared his schedule indefinitely. Some say he's been visiting her home privately, others that they're speaking more often again. Neither has confirmed anything, and maybe they don't need to. Because sometimes, love doesn't need public declarations. It speaks in gestures, in showing up at 3 a.m., in holding someone's hand when they wake, in staying even when the cameras stop rolling. The world may never know exactly what was said between them that night, but one thing is certain. In that quiet hospital room, love made its way back, fragile but real. And maybe, just maybe, this was the universe's way of reminding them, and all of us, that no matter how far people drift apart, some hearts are meant to find their way back when it matters most. Because true love doesn't ask for timing. It simply arrives, even at 3 a.m., when everything else has fallen silent. The days following Yang Mei Mei's collapse became a silent storm of emotions that swept through the entertainment world. Outside her hospital, fans continued to gather, some holding flowers, others leaving handwritten notes filled with love and prayers. The once bustling actress, whose laughter often filled sets and interviews, was now in recovery, fragile, quiet, and away from the spotlight she had long carried with grace. But as the world worried for her, Yulong's presence remained a mystery wrapped in tenderness. He avoided cameras, slipped in and out through private doors, and refused interviews. Yet, insiders whispered that he never left her side. "He's there every morning," one nurse revealed softly. "He brings her favorite tea, checks her medication, and even reads to her sometimes. It's like he's trying to make up for all the time they lost." Inside the hospital room, the air was filled with quiet words and long silences, the kind that only two people who truly know each other can share. Yang Mei Mei, though weak, often smiled faintly when she saw him. There were no accusations, no tears, just an unspoken warmth that hung in the air. Sometimes, the deepest conversations happen in silence. Her recovery became more than a medical process. It became an emotional awakening. The doctors spoke of physical rest, but her heart was doing its own healing. For months, she had buried her pain beneath work, pretending that ambition could replace affection. But now, lying in that hospital bed, seeing Yulong's tired eyes and trembling hands, she realized that some bonds simply don't fade, no matter how hard one tries to let go. Yulong, on the other hand, seemed to have shed his usual calm demeanor. Gone was the charismatic actor fans were used to seeing on screen. What remained was a man stripped of pride, facing the painful truth of what he had nearly lost. "He regrets not being there when she needed him the most," said a close friend. He thought walking away would protect her from his world, but now he sees that love doesn't work like that. You can't protect someone by disappearing. When Yang Mei Mei was finally discharged, reporters swarmed the hospital entrance, hoping for a statement. But instead of Yulong, it was Mei Mei who stepped out, wrapped in a simple beige coat, her hair tied back, her smile soft but brave. She thanked her fans for their support and promised to take better care of herself. But what stunned everyone was when Yulong quietly appeared behind her, shielding her from the blinding camera flashes. He didn't say a word, but his gesture said everything. The image of Yulong placing his arm gently around her as they made their way through the crowd became an instant sensation. Fans flooded the internet with captions like, "He never stopped loving her," and "Love always finds its way back." Within hours, their story became the most searched topic across Asia. Though neither confirmed a reunion, their every glance and gesture told a story words could never fully capture. At a quiet cafe days later, a passerby spotted them sitting together near a window. No bodyguards, no staff, just the two of them sharing coffee, talking softly and occasionally laughing. The photo that surfaced showed Mei Mei's eyes glowing with the same spark fans once fell in love with, and Yulong looking at her with a tenderness that couldn't be faked. Industry insiders say the two are not rushing into anything. They're taking time to rebuild what fame once broke, a manager revealed. It's not about publicity or forgiveness. It's about rediscovery, about two hearts remembering how to beat together again. And perhaps that's what makes their story so touching. It isn't just about romance or celebrity glamour. It's about timing, fate, and the way love sometimes pauses, only to return when you least expect it. In the following weeks, Yulong and Mei Mei both took time off work, avoiding media appearances. Some reports claim they traveled together briefly to Jeju Island, a quiet, secluded place far from flashing cameras. Locals whispered about seeing them walking hand in hand by the shore, barefoot, sharing laughter under the gentle hum of ocean waves. They looked peaceful, one local said, like two people who had finally found their way home. Meanwhile, fans continued to flood online forums with emotional posts. One fan wrote, "I used to think love stories and dramas were fake. But watching Yulong run to her side at 3 a.m., that's real. That's the kind of love we all hope for." Another said, "Sometimes love isn't about staying together every moment. It's about showing up when it truly counts." What began as a tragic event had turned into a story of hope, one that reminded millions that love doesn't need perfection to be powerful. Yang Mei Mei's collapse became a turning point, not just for her health, but for her heart. It forced her to slow down, to listen to the quiet voices she had long ignored, including the one that whispered Yulong's name even after the world thought she had moved on. And Yulong's return reminded everyone that sometimes courage isn't in grand declarations, but in the quiet act of showing up, when the world is asleep, when the cameras are off, when it's 3 a.m., and all that matters is love. As the days turned to weeks, Mei Mei's fans noticed her smile growing brighter in each update. She began to post small glimpses of her healing journey, morning walks, soft sunlight through curtains, cups of tea, and once, a shadowed silhouette of two people sitting side by side on a park bench. She captioned it simply, "Peace feels better when it's shared." Yulong, too, returned to social media after weeks of silence, posting a photo of an ocean horizon with the words, "Every storm passes when you choose to stay." Fans immediately connected the dots. It was from Jeju. Neither confirmed anything, yet they didn't have to. The truth was written between their lines, in their silence, and in their actions. And perhaps that's why their story continues to resonate, because it's not about fame or fantasy, but about two real people who found love again through pain and distance. In a world full of fleeting headlines and staged moments, Yulong and Yang Mei Mei's story feels like a gentle reminder that love, no matter how complicated, still exists. It may falter, it may fade, but when it's real, it finds its way back, quietly, faithfully, and often when the world least expects it. So as the lights fade and their story settles into something tender and true, fans everywhere continue to hold on, not just to their love, but to the hope that somewhere, somehow, love still wins in the end. And if you want to keep following their journey, the untold truths, the emotions behind the screen, and the moments that keep hearts believing, then don't miss out on what's coming next. Sparkle subscribe now to my channel, Midnight in Seoul, where we uncover the real stories behind your favorite stars, the heartbreaks, the hope, and the love that lives beyond the spotlight.
Dizzy.